mute button on this. It's kind of weird. Kind of weird. But I was talking about these federal employees and how politicians, especially Republican politicians, are demonizing federal employees. You know, for some reason, they have people thinking that federal employees are not valuable employees. Marjorie Taylor Greene made a statement that federal employees don't deserve a job, don't deserve a paycheck, even though she is a federal employee herself because she get paid by the federal government, and her employer is actually the people that she's talking about who don't deserve a job or don't deserve a paycheck, which is kind of odd to me. What's up, Kanyan? What's going on, man? But it's crazy that these politicians don't respect the voters. You know, all these people running around here talking about fraud and abuse and waste. Well, the American people need to wake up and understand something also. They're using, what's up, be humble. The American people need to wake up and understand that when you said fraud, fraud is a crime. What's up, Alpha? Fraud is a crime. Just understand that. When they say fraud, fraud is a crime. Now, if there's so much fraud out there, why you don't see nobody being arrested? Why you don't see anybody being charged with a crime or being indicted on a crime? See, y'all have to understand these politicians use certain words to get you in your emotions. That's what they do. So when they say fraud, they just try to get you in your emotions. They try to get you outraged that the federal government have so much BS going on, that there is so much fraud going on. What's up, Grandma Love? Yes, there is waste. I can attest to that. There is waste in the federal government, but there is waste everywhere. Everywhere. There's waste in Congress. There's waste at the Pentagon. There's waste at the VA. There's waste everywhere. And what I mean by waste, you have to understand, a lot of this stuff that the federal government buys is overpriced. It's overpriced. And it's been overpriced for years. Years. It didn't start under Biden. It didn't start under Trump. It didn't start under Obama. It didn't start under George Bush. This has been like this for years. But this isn't about waste. And people need to understand that this is not about waste. This is about tax cuts. That's what this is about. And Alpha, your girl Pam and Patel and Dan Bongino, they're not gonna do anything, dude. But I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But like I said, this is not about waste. It's most definitely not about fraud. This is about tax cuts. This is all about tax cuts. And people need to understand that this is all about tax cuts. You know, 2 days ago, what's today? No, day is Wednesday. Monday. No, I'm sorry. Yesterday, 12 people lost their jobs. And everybody's losing their job for the same reasons. Probationary period and post performance. And now, if y'all believe that nonsense, I got a bridge I'm going to sell y'all out in San Francisco, the Golden State Bridge. I own that bridge. Because if y'all believe that all these people losing their job because of poor performance, I got that bridge out there. I'm going to sell to one of y'all for $1 in San Francisco. That's another thing. See, they're telling y'all that these people are poor performance because they get y'all outraged. They get y'all to accept that these people are being fired for just cause. And they're not being fired for just cause. A lot of these people are losing their jobs because it's bullshit. And y'all need to understand that. It's not about fraud. It's not about waste. It's not about performance. It's all about tax cuts. All about tax cuts. No, no, Alpha. See, this is the problem, Alpha. See, y'all are listening. Y'all are listening to these politicians. These politicians are telling y'all that these jobs are waste. These politicians telling y'all, oh, Elon is finding all this fraud, but no one's being charged though. But he's finding so much fraud. It's all bullshit. The American people need to wake up and understand. Stop believing everything that these politicians are telling you, because these politicians got one goal and one goal in mind: to get you outraged about nonsense, to get you to think that they're telling you the truth, and they're not. They're not. See, this is my thing. How can you tell me Elon or someone outside of the agency is going to fire you for performance when your supervisor don't even have a clue what's going on? When the director in that department don't even have a clue about what's going on. So how in the hell can they fire you for performance? Come on, man. Y'all use your minds, your brains. This is crazy. Marcus Taylor Greene sat there today and told you that no federal employees deserve a paycheck or a job. Was she talking about her staff? Because her staff is federal employees, just like she's a federal employee, because the federal government is paying her along with her staff. But do you see any of her staff losing their jobs? No. Have you heard of any senator or any House of Representative staff losing their job? No. Wake up, people. Wake up, America. Wake up and understand we are nothing but pawns. Nothing but pawns. That's all we are. We're nothing but pawns. We're being used and fed information just to get us upset and outraged and think that they're doing the right thing and they're not. All because they want to get you in your feelings, because they want to give the billionaires a tax cut. You know, they had everybody upset about DEI for a minute. You know, DEI, 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 DEI. And so many people was going for that narrative. Oh, they hiring all these unqualified people. These people are getting these positions because of their skin color. All this BS, all that BS. But no, it's all about tax cuts, Alpha. I sit there and watch that whole debate yesterday, and I watched them take those votes. All this is about tax cuts. No ifs, ands, buts about it. But anyway, let me get back to the DEI thing, because I'm going to get to the Dan Bongino issue that you brought up, Alpha. So they got all these people upset about DEI. These people getting these jobs because they're either female or they're black, because of their gender, because of their color. That's how they get in these positions. They're not smart enough for these positions. They're not qualified enough for these positions. So Biden and Harris and everybody else just giving these people all these positions because of their gender and their color. After saying all that nonsense, what do they turn around and do? They go and hire unqualified people for those positions. They just went and fired a 4-star general who have combat experience, who have fulfilled all obligations to be the Joint Chief of Staff chairman. Then they turn us around and fire him, and guess who they replace him with? A retired 3-star general with less qualifications than the guy they got rid of. But then they want to talk about DEI. You see what I mean about these people trying to get you in your emotions? They want you to think a certain way while they're turning around and doing the exact same thing, which is worse. Just understand what I'm saying here, man. Just understand what I'm saying. The four-star general was hired by Trump. That's a fact. That's a fact. He was hired originally to be the chief of the Air Force. But your boy come along, the didn't earn it guy, Pete Hegseth, come along and said that no, that four-star general is not qualified to be the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staffs, because he was basically a DEI hire. You see what I mean? We sit here and tell people one thing, and then we do the exact same thing that we got people upset about. Dan Bongino. Yeah, he got some law enforcement experience. Yeah, he worked for New York City Police. Yeah, he was a Secret Service agent, but he had no investigation skills. He haven't led anything. But what do? They go put him in a position that's really meant for a civil servant who's been with the FBI for years. But they put Dan Bongino in that position, though. A man who got no qualifications as an FBI agent whatsoever. But we want to talk about DEI. See, this is what I'm trying to tell people. Wake up. Stop getting outraged when these people telling you that black man got hired because he's a DEI, or that woman got hired because she's a DEI. Stop being outraged about that, because that's bullshit. Because they go get some of the most unqualified people to fill these top positions. You know, I was looking at Trump cabinet today when he had his first cabinet meeting. You know what I seen? You know what I noticed? I didn't see no black faces. And I know there was one in there because he's the HUD secretary. But I couldn't see him in the picture, though. Why is that? No diversity in the room. None whatsoever. But everybody's supposed to be qualified in that room. And we know they're not for those positions. We know they're not. What's up, Robzilla? But the thing about the whole situation is we need to stop listening to these people. They're telling you that these people are being fired from the federal government because their performance is poor. That's a lie. They're telling you that these people getting these positions are DEI hire, and they're not. That's a lie. Y'all need to stop letting these people gaslight y'all. Need to stop it. Robzilla, actually, that no tax on tip and overtime wasn't part of that bill. It's not going to be part of any bill. So that's another thing. Donald Trump tells y'all that he's going to try to get them to pass no taxes on tips and no tax on overtime. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Guarantee it's not going to happen. Y'all got to understand. And where are they taking that from anyway? Just so they do want to pass that. Where are they going to take that from? They're going to take it from the poor. They're going to take all that from the poor. No, what they did yesterday, they voted. I'm gonna say, let me put it in layman term. They voted on a generic bill to have an outline of what the budget is going to look like. That's what they voted. There's no numbers. There was no numbers in that. There's no numbers. There's no set anything in that resolution. It wasn't about a budget resolution. It was just an outline of where they're standing at. That's all it is. No specifics in that bill whatsoever that passed yesterday. And really, that's the only way they really got those other two Republicans to vote for that bill, because it was 3 at first, and it ended up only 1 Republican voted against it. Because there's nothing in the bill. It's just a hollow out bill right now. What's up, T Black? That job was the only time someone told me I worked too fast and I would work myself out of a job. What y'all? What I missed something, Darius. What y'all was that, Darius? I must miss something you said before that. No, no, I don't think that's in that bill. I don't think that's going to be part of that bill. I really don't. Well, either way, be honest with you, it's not going to pass. And I'm going to tell you the reason why it's not going to pass. Because when they finally put everything into the bill, it's going to raise the debt limit. And I guarantee you, they're going to be at least 3 or 4 Republicans who's not going to vote for it. Because I think there's at least 5 who have never voted for a debt ceiling raise. And ain't no Republican, ain't no Democrat going to vote for it. Guarantee you. And they should vote it down. They really should vote it down. Oh, you work for the GBI in Georgia? That's state government, though. That's the good old boys. GBI, that's good old boys down there in Georgia. What's up, D Rizzo? well, this is another thing also. You know, when everybody keep talking about this funding, when y'all keep talking about these funding, these bills, I'm gonna ask y'all a question. Can y'all answer this question for me? How many budgets in the last 2 years did the Republican Party pass? How many? So when y'all sit here talk about, when they talk about all this crazy stuff in these bills and all this crazy stuff being funded, Republicans are just as guilty as Democrats. What's up, Rock Bottom? Republicans are just as guilty because they've been doing CR for the last 2 years. So everything that Nancy Pelosi passed when she was speaker, when the Democrat was in charge, they've been passing the same shit for the last 2 years. And they're going to do it again next month. They're going to pass another CR next month. Watch this. So, actually, they're all in this together. And that's something I don't understand also. How can we sit here and blame Democrats for all this garbage that's in these funding bills when both parties are voting on it? You know, we pay Congress for oversight, right? You know, they got a committee. They got Congress for oversight. Congress, damn. Congress is the one that's supposed to be doing what Elon is doing. But we paying Congress to do nothing. People need to sit back and understand all this stuff. They really do. More like kickbacks. The answer should be 0. You're right, 0. Damn, I can't. I'm going to my throat. God damn. You're right, dear Rizzo. You're most definitely right. It should be 0. But we all know each party want to blame the other party for the nonsense when both parties are at fault. But then again, it goes back to what I said earlier. We allowing these politicians to gaslight us, to pick a side. Instead of us looking at it from an American point of view, it's saying, you know what? Both parties are responsible for this garbage. Both parties are responsible for polar bears and transgender, whatever DeRizzo said. Both parties are to blame. And we need to stop letting them gaslight us. We really do. I sit here every day and watch these videos because I'm crazy for one thing. I don't know why I sit here and watch all this crazy stuff, but I watch Americans fight amongst themselves. They fight amongst themselves over what Congress is saying, and they're all lying to us. Now, I'm a little biased, so I'm going to say, you know, Republicans tend to lie more than Democrats, but Democrats do lie also. So, but my whole point is we need to stop letting these people gaslight us from both sides. You know, when I hear people talk about, when I hear everyday Americans talking about how lazy federal workers are and how they need to cut back on federal government, I'm saying, you know what? You listen to too much Fox News, or you listen to too much bullshit news, and you believe in all this nonsense. Do you work for the federal government? Are you there every day, day in and day out? So how do you know what these people are doing? You don't know. You're going off what a politician told you. That's what you're going off of. And they're lying to you. I guess they're the only ones that got hard working staffers. They are the only ones that have employees, federal employees that working hard. Because if you notice, you haven't heard of any staffers losing their jobs. Just understand that. Well, you know, G. Rizzo, in that case, every 435 House of Representatives need to be fired, and 100 senators need to be fired, because they all are taking care of all that bullshit and not taking care of the homeless. They all need to be fired. Every last one of them. Y'all got to remember, Congress actually tried to get themselves a raise, tried to sneak themselves a raise in back in December in that CR. They tried to sneak that in. Sneak themselves a raise in. But they got the audacity talking about somebody that don't deserve a paycheck. They don't deserve a paycheck. They get $175,000 a year plus the perks to go along with it. So I guarantee you, after all the perks are added up, they clearing about 300 grand a year. For what? For what? Then on top of that, they use their campaign money. These people are making out like bandits, but they got the audacity to talk about federal workers. Come on, man. This is crazy. This is real crazy. Y'all do me a favor, guys. If y'all still in the room, please hit that thumbs up button. I really appreciate it. I got only one thumbs up. Can I at least get 4 or 5? Give me at least 4 or 5. Come on, man. I'm working hard here. I'm working hard. Help a brother out. Help a brother out. But like I said, man, we need to wake up as Americans. We really do. We really do. You know, we sit here and let these let me tell y'all something. There are more uneducated people in Congress right now than ever before. Ever before. And they got the audacity to sit here and talk about federal workers. And you wonder why, Darius. How do they become multimillionaires making $174,000 base pay a year? How do you become a millionaire? You know, but like I said, we need to understand we are the problem, though. The American people is the problem. You know why we the problem? Because we keep sending these same people back every year, year in and year out. The same people. People ain't doing nothing for you. People ain't trying to make your life better. Only life they're trying to make better is their own lives. That's it. They're only trying to make their own lives better. They're not trying to make nobody else's life better. Think about it. Who are they really on both sides of the aisle? Democrats and Republicans. Whose lives are they trying to make better? They're donors. They're big donors. That's who's more important to them. Think about this right here for a minute. We all talk about SNAP, right? We all talk about government programs, right? We all talk about the safety nets, people who receive SNAP benefits, people who receive just cash benefits from the government. We all talk about those people, right? But you know who we don't talk about? The ones we don't talk about are the oil companies. Or we don't talk about people like Elon Musk, who are receiving subsidies in the millions and millions of dollars every year from the federal government. You know why we don't talk about them? Because the people in Congress only want to talk about the poor people. They only want to talk about what the poor get in subsidies. The housing, the SNAP benefits, the school vouchers, That's all they want to talk about is what the poor is receiving. They don't want to talk about what the billionaires are receiving. The oil companies that they're raking in billions of dollars every year, and we're giving them like $15 billion in subsidies. They don't talk about that. But then us poor people, we want to fight amongst ourselves because they keep talking about SNAP. They want to talk about vouchers for housing. They want to talk about, the homeless, try to get people off the streets. They want to bring all that up so we can fight amongst ourselves while they're sneaking and giving these oil companies and people like Elon Musk millions of dollars in subsidies. That's crazy. That's crazy. It's crazy. Elon says SpaceX is going to save us $50 billion in a rocket launch cost. How much money are we giving him in subsidies, though, Darius? Elon is not not doing this stuff from the kindness of his heart. What's up, Meme Up? He's not doing this from the kindness of his heart. But the bullshit budget, you most right about that, Rock Bottom. Elon is receiving more fucking subsidies than anybody else right now. He receiving subsidies for Tesla. He receiving subsidies for SpaceX. He receiving more government welfare than a lot of other people in this country right now. Now, I'm not talking about the contract. I'm talking about the subsidies. Y'all need to understand. But see, you see what Darius doing right there? See, Darius want to sit here and support Elon, right? But Darius, he want to ignore the fact that Elon is receiving subsidies from the federal government. I'm not saying he's being paid. He's receiving subsidies to prop up his business. That's what Elon is doing. But let me talk about SNAP. So let's talk about the SNAP program. Y'all want to talk about the SNAP program? How many people are receiving SNAP? I guarantee you can add everybody who receives SNAP. It's not going to be as much as what Elon receiving the subsidies. Guarantee you. Or the big oil company receiving the subsidies. Put money on it. And that's true. But the thing about it is the federal government is subsidizing Elon and his electric cars. But see, another thing also is right here, Darius. How can Elon be doing what he's doing with this Dodge program and he's doing business with the government? What is up with that? Put aside your feelings about what they're trying to achieve. Do you at least agree with the cuts for the lazy? You know what I mean? At first, I was kind of like, okay, all right, SNAP benefits, okay, I was little, but then I thought about something, which I think you just walked in on the conversations, but then I thought about something. How about the millions of dollars in subsidies that we give to corporations? So why would I get upset about SNAP when we're giving more money away to corporations? I had to think about that for a minute, Mean Mug. I really did. I'm not going to get upset about SNAP when they're giving billions of dollars to corporation subsidies. I'm not going to do that. Well, actually, I think I seen something. Actually, I think I seen something where Tesla didn't pay any income tax last year. See, that's the problem. See, this is the problem, D. Rizzo. They're not paying taxes. You're giving all this money in subsidies, but these people are not paying taxes. You're probably paying more taxes than Elon. I'm probably paying more taxes than Elon. You know, one thing I did agree with though that I seen yesterday when it came to SNAP, when they was talking about sugary food, sodas, candy, stuff like that. Now, I most definitely agree that SNAP benefits shouldn't be used to buy sugary drinks or sugary food. I totally that's something I totally agree with, and that's what a Republican was saying yesterday. He was saying that SNAP should not be used for candy, sugary sodas, and stuff like. I totally agree with that. I totally agree. I always thought that. I always thought that candy should be something that you should not be able to buy with SNAP. Sodas you should not be able to buy with SNAP. I really believe because you got to realize also you can't even buy hot food with SNAP. The deli food, you can't buy deli food with SNAP. So I'm trying to figure out you can't buy deli food with SNAP, but you can buy candy and soda with SNAP. That didn't make sense to me. That really didn't make sense at all. I'm gonna ask you a question, me Mug. There's a lot of, and I get what you're saying because I trust me, I agree with you to a certain extent. I agree with you when I see people on YouTube lazy, collecting and not doing anything to benefit themselves. I agree with you. I really do. But this is the problem with that though. We cannot only talk about them, we have to talk about the ones who are making more money off of the government and just as lazy. See, we got to start talking about both sides of this. We can't just talk about one side anymore. We got to talk about both sides. What's up, King Curry? What's up, Dookie? What's going on, fellas? We got to talk about both sides. We can't talk about one side. Because there's a lot of money being wasted on both sides. From the rich point of view and from the poor point of view. So I think you wasn't here when I was saying this earlier. We need to stop focusing on the poor only. We got to stop focusing on the poor only. Because when we just focus on the poor, the rich is taking advantage of that. The rich is taking advantage of it. And we need to stop focusing on the poor. But you're right, though. There's a lot of people who sits on their ass every day and do nothing but collect from the government. And that needs to stop. Most definitely need to stop. So I agree. But like I said, I go one step further, though. Need to think about the rich also. Because a lot of them motherfuckers sitting around here getting paid for doing nothing. Eight percent. I'm gonna say this right here, DeRizzo. It's not gonna happen. Let me tell you this right here. They're not going to cut 8% from the military, from the Pentagon. They're not. Just like today, Trump said, this is what Trump said today, which I know he was lying when he said it. Trump said that they are not going to cut Medicaid. He said it's not going to happen. He said it's not going to happen. And that was a bold-faced lie he told. Because there is no way in the hell you can't cut Medicaid and pass a tax cut. You saw how easy it was for Trump to lie? Just like that 8%, you saying they're going to cut from the Pentagon? That's a lie also. That's a lie. Guaranteed that's a lie. See, we need to stop falling for the okie doke. We need to stop it. They said one thing in front of the press, but behind closed doors, they plotting and planning to cut Medicaid. Because Medicaid is one of the biggest drivers, besides Social Security and Medicare, is one of the biggest drivers of the debt. And yet they cannot afford not to cut Medicaid because of the tax cut. Y'all better wake up and understand that. But see, the thing also, and the reason, another reason why I said they're not gonna cut 8% from the Pentagon budget, because if you listen to Didn't Earn It, Pete Hegseth 2 weeks ago when he was overseas, telling them they need to boost theirs up to 4-5% of GDP, and America's only paying 3% themselves. So how can you cut 8% if you want to stay at 3% of your GDP or more? You can't. You can't. No, actually, I'm referring to that do nothing Congress we have, who making all that money doing nothing up there in DC. Well, I mean, unfortunately, they're gonna have to be cut because that's the only way they can pass the tax cuts, and they're gonna pass those tax cuts. They're gonna pass them. That's 8%. Is 8% of what? I think the budget is like 800 and some $billion. That's 8%. Yeah, I guess so. Because 10% would be about 80 billion. Well, actually, 50 billion is not a lot of money though. When you look at the bigger picture of it, that's not a lot of money anyway. When you come to that budget, when you come to the budget overall, it sounds about right. But when you look at the budget as a whole, that's not a lot of money. Especially when you talk about taking 800 and some $billion from Medicaid. But yeah, but like I said, I don't see it happening. I really don't. I don't see them not, like Trump lied. Trump just straight up lied today. And this is the whole thing about Trump. Trump will tell you one thing, and it's not going to happen the way he said it is. Just like Ukraine, for instance, he's saying that Ukraine is going to cut a deal with those minerals, but he's not going to give them security, a guaranteed security. Now, something's not going to happen because Ukraine is not going to give them those minerals unless they get security guaranteed from the U.S. But in Trump world, he going to lie to you, then turn around, something's not going to happen the way he said it's going to happen. $50 billion. I honestly, $50 billion is a drop in the bucket when you talking about trillions of dollars, because that's the overall budget. The overall budget is trillions of dollars. So 50 billion in that light, it's a drop in the bucket. It's like me saying, that penny on the floor. If I got $2,000 or $3,000 in my pocket, that penny don't mean nothing to me. And that was what 50 billion mean when you talk about trillions of dollars in the government budget. Well, Dookie, I can say this right here, Dookie. See, I'm a real one. I can say this right here. All presidents lie. Now, Trump tend to lie more than usual, though. I can say that. Trump tend to lie a little bit more than usual. They all lie, though, but Trump lie a little bit more. D Rizzo, man. I guess you got a point there. But the problem with that is, how long would it take me to pick up a million pennies? uh, I don't know about that, Dookie. Your boy is a little shaky lately. He ain't all there. You need to pay attention to him. He ain't too far away from Biden. Trust me. Ask Doge. Ask Doge. But nah, man. But nah, like I said, seriously, man, we need to start letting these people gaslight us. Because they're really gaslighting us a lot. Well, you know, honestly, I don't care what you said, Dookie, about Biden. He was 10 times better than Trump. How's those gas prices going at, Dookie? They looking for pennies. You're right, they are looking for pennies. They really are looking for pennies. You know, firing people is not gonna get you what you want. You know, cutting the payroll of the federal government is not gonna get you what you want. I think the entire payroll right now for the federal government only makes up 4% of the budget. 4%. 4% of the budget. Their federal payroll. So it ain't gonna get you where you need to go. So that means if you cut everybody working for the federal government, you're only gonna save 4% of the budget. That's it. I'm just telling the truth, Dookie. Come on, Mean Buck. The worst. Your boy Trump was the worst. Y'all fail to realize one thing about Trump. Trump took advantage of Obama. Do y'all realize that? Do y'all realize if you look at Trump's numbers compared to Obama's last 4-year numbers, Obama was killing Trump. Trump fed off Obama. That's why Trump was looking so good. A black man made Trump look good. Because all he had to do was maintain what Obama started. That's it. That's it. They're not going to cut the military spending. That's something. But you know what, Darius? And a lot of people are not talking about this. That's where the waste at. All that waste is in the Pentagon. DOD have all the waste. Because you got to realize the DOD have never ever passed an audit. But for some strange reason, they keep giving them more and more funding, but they can't pass an audit. Make that make sense. How can you keep giving a department more and more money and they can't even account for the money that you're giving them? That's how crazy the federal government is. That's what you're not seeing. You won't pay your bills by saving $0. But there is the thing about that is though, you can't really look at. But the thing about that is, Rizzo, if you really want to cut, why don't you go to the Pentagon and find all that waste over there? All those contracts, all that, the military industry complex over there that you're sending all this money to and you're wasting all this money. I guarantee you can find more money over there in the DOD than you can by firing the people you have fired from the federal government. I put money on it. Put money on it. Oh, you dabble in the government contracting, so you know. Yeah, but see, rock bottom, that's the part that happens all across the federal government. Whenever they have extra money, let me tell y'all something. This is why I know, like I said, I'm not against getting rid of the waste because I see it every day. I see it every day. I see chairs being thrown away that was just bought like 2 months ago. They throw the chairs away now to buy new chairs. Or they might go buy a new microwave that they just bought last year. So trust me, I know there's a lot of money that's being spent wrong, but the problem is they're going about it, they're doing it the wrong way. They're doing it the wrong way. Well, actually, Duke, they should have started in the DOD. Because like I said, if you haven't passed the audit, if you have never ever passed the audit, that should have been the first place you start. You know why? Because you haven't passed the audit and you spend more money there. That's one of the 3 things that you spend money on the most. So why not start there first and work your way down? And that's how I know this shit is not legit, because any serious person would have started at the top and worked themselves down. Well, the thing about that is we spend more money on military. Well, we waste more money in the military than we know what we're doing with. We waste a lot of money. It's not about cutting the troop levels. It's not about cutting the equipment. It's about finding the waste, the real waste, the real waste. When you say you're doing audits year after year after year, and you keep failing no audits year after year after year, that means you need to start there first. That's what that means. Yeah, they have to spend all their money to justify them getting more money next year. So they spend it on anything and everything. Well, one of the problems also that we fail to realize is they're not passing budgets anymore. They're just doing CRs. They're not doing real budgets. They're just doing CRs. And that's part of the problem also. You got to realize the federal government haven't been balanced since Bill Clinton. That's the last time they did a balanced budget, during Bill Clinton time. Everything is overcost these days. Everything goes over budget these days. And that's another problem. But see, that's what I'm saying. If you want to solve these issues, y'all got to start in those programs like that F-35 fighter jet. Those are the problems you got to fix first. That's what I'm saying. It's nothing wrong with the audit, but the problem is you keep failing the audit. So why would you keep throwing money at the DOD and they keep failing audits? And see, my thing is, if you fail the audit, let's say you can't find $50 billion. Well, I'm gonna cut your budget by $50,000 in next year. That's what I would do. If I can't find the money, I'm just gonna cut what I can't find until we can until we can pass an audit. And see, that's a huge overcost. $2 trillion from $400 billion to $2 trillion. That's a hell of an overcost. Well, also, Darius, Marines is the smallest unit in the military also. But like I said, D Rizzo, like me, I'm just a common man. So if I can figure this shit out, why can't they figure this shit out? If I can sit here and tell you I can plan, so well, y'all felt y'all missing $50 billion, so we're gonna make sure you don't get X amount of dollars this time. If I can figure that out, why can't they do it? They can figure it out. They just don't want to. See, y'all got to understand something also. Congress is to blame for all of this. It ain't the American people to blame. It ain't the federal workers. It's Congress. They're to blame for this because they know better. They really know better. Y'all got to understand that that shit is crazy. But then they run around here and gaslight the American people like they're innocent in all this. And I'm talking about Democrats and Republicans. None of them are innocent of this. They're all guilty. They're all guilty. Every last one of them are guilty. But see, we as the people need to wake up and understand that they're gaslighting us. And they're taking the blame off of themselves. And they're the blame for this. They have the oversight of these funds. They're the one who's doling out these appropriation bills every year. So they're the one responsible for this mess. But who's taking the fall for it? The everyday common federal worker. And like I said before, how many staffers have lost their jobs in D.C. that works for a senator or work for a House of Representative? How many have lost their job? I guarantee you zero. And they're the cause for all this mess. We need to wake up, people. We need to wake up and understand what's going on around us. We really do. We really, really do. When you got somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene sitting there telling you, oh, federal workers don't deserve a paycheck. Federal workers don't deserve a job. But she's sitting in D.C. herself getting taxpayer money and ain't doing nothing to earn it. But lying to the American people. That's crazy. That's really crazy. That is so crazy. And we should be ashamed of ourselves for keep voting these people back in and year out. We vote the same people. Let me tell you something that made me so disgusting today. What I seen. Yeah, it's terrible, me, Mug. It's really terrible. What's up, Classic? There you go, Classic with this nonsense. There you go, Classic. I knew you was coming with some bullshit. There you go, coming in with this bullshit. But anyway, let me tell you what I seen today that made me kind of pissed off. You know, we play so many political games in this country, it just doesn't make sense. So a couple weeks back, old Byron Donalds, your boy, the boy that wanted to be governor, your boy who got thrown under the bus by Ron DeSantis the other day, who basically said he was a DEI hire. He said he's not qualified to be governor of Florida. In so many words, that's what Ron DeSantis said about Byron Donalds. But anyway, old Byron Donalds went out to California a couple weeks ago, and the House has a rule that says that you have to vote in person. There is no remote voting, right? So your old boy Byron Donalds, working remotely, the same thing they try to tell everybody to come back to work. You can't work remotely in the federal government anymore. You got to come and show up for your job. You know what I'm saying? So old Byron out there in California, he decided that he gonna vote remotely. All right. Republicans, they let him do it. They let him do it. But this what pissed me off the most about this. They had a Democrat House member who just had a baby. Just had a baby. And you know what they made her do? They made her come to D.C. and vote. And she did it, but she made a point also when she did it. She brought a baby onto the floor and gave a speech. Just let them know how cruel the Republican Party is. When they allow Byron Donalds to vote out in California because he was at a TV appearance, but they won't let this woman who just had a baby vote remotely. See, that's what's wrong with politics today. It's Democrats versus Republicans, and no one cares. No one cares. It's crazy. It's really crazy. We need to stop that. We need to stop that. We really need to stop that. It's okay for Byron Donalds to vote remotely on a very important vote, but it's not good enough for her, who just had a baby, to do the same. That's crazy. That's really crazy. That is true, D Rizzo. You know why? Reason I know that's so true, because there was I seen some a couple weeks ago. No, I seen about a month ago, when this guy was talking about how this guy had voted for this congressman who had been in there for a while, but he didn't know who he was. He couldn't point him out to him. He couldn't tell you what the guy looked like, but he just recognized the name. And he voted just for the name. Never seen the guy. Well, I guess he's seen him once or twice, but he didn't recognize the guy. But he voted for the guy. And you most definitely right, Rizzo. Most definitely right. Actually, it was a newborn. I think she had just had the baby within weeks. It wasn't months. It was weeks. I want to say either one. I want to say 1 week or 2 weeks. I want to say 1 or 2 weeks. But yeah, she matter of fact, right here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Yeah, where's the video? Oh, right here. Right here. That's all right there. That's all right there with a baby in her hand. So that baby about either a week or 2 weeks old. It's not that old. No, it wasn't 6 months. It most definitely wasn't 6 months. Most definitely wasn't 6 months. It was weeks. I want to say either 1 or 2. It looked like it's 1 or 2. But nah, like I say, that's cruel though. You don't make people. You think 4 weeks? I like I said, my thing is, if she had a legitimate reason to vote remotely like that, it should have been okay. You know. So I just think the games that they play in DC is crazy, and they get the people to start fighting amongst themselves, and we all look bad in the end because they all make us look like fools in the end. Because we sit here, we go back and forth, we argue back and forth over lies. Like I said, both sides lies, but we end up going back and forth over lies, and it's crazy. It's really crazy. It's super crazy. But yeah. Well, guys, that's all I got for y'all today. I appreciate everybody who stopped by, and I thank everybody for hitting that thumbs up button who did. 9 thumbs up, so I really appreciate that also. And like I said, man, I enjoy the conversation. I enjoy going back and forth with everybody. You know, like I said, we might not agree, but it just the interaction with that I like. Well, also, Rizzo, in the federal government, they do give you 12 weeks of maternity leave. So I don't know why it's different for Congress, because, she should have been at home with her family for at least 12 weeks, knowing she just had a baby. So that's kind of cruel. But like I said, guys, thank you guys for coming by. And until next time, I salute you all. Y'all have a good night.